What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel. I think I'm gonna go that way. It looks a little bit tougher. I know I've been that way before. So I'm curious, when do you guys quit riding? What month or what temperature? I quit riding whenever the snow gets too deep. So like a few years ago we had a ton of snow and I had to wait that one out. But besides that, I pretty much go year round these days. Even if the ground is frozen, I'll throw some studs in the tires and get some riding done. But I'm curious about what other people do as far as when they quit riding for the season. I've always thought it would be nice to live in St. George or something, where the riding is pretty solid all year long. But riding in snow is okay, as long as it's not too deep. I ride pretty much year round, and I think part of that's because I like the type of riding that really challenges me. I really like doing hard enduros and stuff like that, where it's pretty painful to ride it, but super rewarding when you're done. And you get a lot of contrast and pretty riding areas like I'm at right now. In the summertime, this is like deserty, gross looking stuff. Right now it's beautiful. Whoa! Bike is so fast. The reason I like two strokes like this is because the rev range is just different from a four stroke. It has better resistance to flame out. And the trail bikes that they're making in the four strokes are way better than what I've ridden. Where I was riding the CRF 250R four stroke, those four strokes have a tendency to flame out at low speed or low RPM, especially like out there in Moab on the slick rock where you're getting great traction. If you drop the RPM on that race bike at all, it will immediately just shut your engine off. It just flames out. I was getting so frustrated on that trip because you just have to scream that thing, keep that rear wheel spinning in order to keep the engine running. So that's the cool thing about a two-stroke though. They make really good hard enduro bikes getting through the really tight stuff because they just have that tendency to keep running when you are really low in the RPM because it's firing, that spark plug is firing every rotation. instead of every other rotation. So it really keeps your engine alive. And also, the way they've modified these bikes in the past 10 years, specifically for riding trail, makes the power band really linear. So it makes the power really smooth, really easy to work with, very compliant and forgiving when you get in tough situations. But it also revs out really nice too. So I was a little bit afraid this bike would feel like too much bike because I'm used to small bore machines, but this has a good combo of lightweight feel and good usable horsepower. It doesn't make me feel out of control or like it's too much bike at all. And that's exactly what I felt like when I was riding like the 450 that I had, the RMZ 450, which was a 4-speed transmission, which in my opinion is the worst transmission. So I just wanted to continue my conversation about the reason I like two-stroke so much. And the bottom line is that they're just a funner bike to ride. Just the power is a lot more playful. They have a lighter feel to them, although nowadays they're not really lighter for the most part. I mean, they're a little bit lighter maybe, but not enough to make a big difference. So the two-strokes feel a lot lighter still, and they probably always will. That's partially due to the power delivery. There's a lot less going on in the engine, a lot quicker revving feel. They have top-end power. As much as people love two-strokes, and I'm one of them, the four-strokes are superior for many reasons, and they're superior in almost every environment. The pros will use a four-stroke in most environments these days, and I would say the only reason they would even run a two-stroke is because the manufacturers want them to. They can't have four-strokes winning hard enduros, but otherwise two-strokes would be just obsolete if the pros started winning with four-strokes. But I really do feel that as long as you can keep a four-stroke from overheating, because that's one of their tendencies, if you can keep them from doing that, you have a superior machine in almost every environment. Eventually I want to get back on a four-stroke. They just have, like the race bikes just have that snap. When you hit the throttle, they just pow, it's right there. They have fuel injection figured out on those completely. I mean, you don't have to lubricate the engine with the fuel, so it makes it really simple for a four-stroke to just be submerged in perfect lubrication. And they are way freer revving machines, so you can just hold them up on top, and there's a big band of power up there. You can just sit there and hold it, whereas a two-stroke usually has a thin band of power up top. So like an environment like this, on these sand washes where you really want to keep it up on the rev limiter, I mean, it's way easier to do that on a four-stroke. Also, two-strokes have a tendency to have death shake, death wobble, and that's because of power delivery, partially. You know, four-strokes are just butter smooth. You can just hold them wide open. I mean, that's why in the desert races and stuff, I mean, there's no two-strokes up at the front of the pack, especially in the pro classes. I said it, four-strokes are superior bikes, but two-strokes are more fun. So, but four-strokes are a ton of fun as well. I love a 250 four-stroke. The 450s are a lot of fun too, but if I just wanted to win races, I'd probably get myself a 450. Now, some people, you know, you can do a lot of things to a two-stroke to make it better, to make it more like a four-stroke. A lot of people are putting steering stabilizers on their two-strokes, which is basically cheating when you're racing against guys who don't have those. in a desert race. It's very helpful to have a steering stabilizer in a desert race. I've been thinking about getting one of those, but desert racing is really not my thing. I'd like to do hard enduro, and steering stabilizers, I mean, they're very expensive. You're talking $600, $700. So there's a lot of things you can do to your bike to help you be competitive. And luckily they don't race two strokes against four strokes for the most part. They do run two strokes against heavily modified bikes with things like the auto clutches. I mean, I don't know about that. That's basically running an automatic transmission. Makes it way easier for an amateur, even a pro. If you're not Graham Jarvis, you're going to benefit greatly from an auto clutch where you can't kill your bike. So doing these hard enduros with auto clutches, in my opinion, it's cheating. If you don't like it, get a steering stabilizer, I guess. Or if you don't like it, get yourself an auto clutch. Make your bike less fun to ride, but make it way easier to hit the hard stuff. Back to four strokes. Shoot, you get those things to where they don't overheat. You have yourself a great bike. Whew, getting slick. And then you have some guys with four strokes running steering stabilizers. At that point, you just have something on a rail. It's hard to get that death wobble on a four stroke if you have a steering stabilizer on it. So if I decide to desert race more, which I think I will, it was pretty fun. But I just had death wobble like crazy on my races last year. So if I desert race, I'll probably put a stabilizer on the front of this. But anyways, yeah, you guys might see me at some point on a Yamaha 250X or maybe a four-stroke like a 250RX. The only reason I got rid of my Honda is because the transmission was too close. The ratio was too close. And the mileage, the fuel range, I couldn't do any long rides with it. I could just lean back on that 250 and just fly fifth gear wide open everywhere. I mean, if it was a desert environment, that thing was unstoppable. Alright guys, I am done talking for now. Catch you on the next section. See ya.
His name is RacerRed. If he wasn't riding, he'd be in bed. He naps during the day. He rides his love in garage bays. Oh, he rides all night, full throttle all the time. Oh, he was born to ride. Red Racer, like, comment, and subscribe.